What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So on today's video, I'm gonna unpack the 5 major mistakes first-time flippers make. And this doesn't just apply to first-time flippers. There's guys and gals that have been in the game for a long time that continue to make these mistakes. So let me run through these in order, in no particular order. And so let's jump right in. First one is underestimating your timeline. Flippers are notorious for doing this. They overestimate what they can do in 1 month, but underestimate what they can do in 1 year. That famous Bill Gates quote. It's not uncommon to look at a financial model for a project and see a rehab having been truncated down to 3 months. Like, it takes 3 months these days to walk in and out of a rehab, right? So that's super unrealistic, but that's often what you find. And when they do that, they're just not accounting for the carry, the holding cost that'll come with having a project on the books for 6 months or 9 months, right? Or however long it actually will take, which leads me into the second mistake, right? That's the financing piece. It's not accounting for how much it's going to cost to carry a project, not baking in the financing cost, the points on the front end, sure, the interest to carry the thing, right? So if you've underestimated the timeline, like the first mistake, and now you're assuming you do a project in 3 months, but it ultimately takes you 9, right? Those extra 6 months of carry, they shouldn't be the difference between whether or not you make money, but they could be, right? If you modeled the deal super thin, that could be a problem. And so that's the second issue. I would say the third mistake is they speculate on the ARV. They get really aggressive with what they think they can get for it when it's done. You're better off being conservative on the purchase, but then again, being equally conservative on the outsale, right? You don't want to assume that you're going to set the record in any given market. If you're having to set the record to make the deal work, if you're having to massage your ARV to make the deal make sense on paper on the front end, it's likely not a deal. Don't get super aggressive with your ARVs. If you're going the hard money route, you're likely going to have a third-party appraiser come in and beat your ARV down anyway, right? That's what they get paid to do, to come in and sanity check your model. And so before the hard money lender lends you the money to do the rehab, they're going to have their third party come in and they're going to be conservative. That's what they get paid to do. And so work to their ARV. And if you do better than that, which in our case we often do, we nearly always do better than the third-party appraiser's ARV, it's just gravy. It's just that much better. But make the deal work with a conservative ARV. The fourth mistake I often see investors make is they over-improve the house. Either they over-improve it in the sense that it's far too much for that market, or they over-improve it, or they're selective with their finishes based on their personal style, right? So they're too buyer specific. They like a certain thing in the house, whether it's aesthetics or price, and they just implement that in the house because it's what they like, not realizing that they're not their end buyer a lot of times, right? So don't over improve for the market and don't over improve for yourself, right? This isn't your house. Don't fall in love with your flip. You've heard that said before. Don't do that because you'll likely over improve the flip, and then you're not going to get the value on the out sale. There are some things that make sense to do, right? Depending on where you are in the country. If you've got a basement, clearly finish the basement. That's easy money, right? These are things that we always do that make sense. But don't put in anything that you have to guess whether or not the market will compensate you for on the out sale. If you have to think about it that way, chances are it doesn't belong in your rehab, and don't do it, right? Be buyer neutral and be budget conscious. Which takes me into our fifth and final mistake, which is underestimating the rehab cost. And so, of course, you can go over budget by doing things you ought not be doing in the house anyway, by over improving, but you could just clearly have modeled the deal wrong from the get-go by underestimating labor and materials, right? And in different parts of the country, things cost different amounts. And so what a lot of people tend to do is use some standards they found online and apply that to their model, and then they're surprised when they're over budget by 50%. Well, what it costs us in New Jersey to do something is drastically different than what it costs someone in Texas to do something. So you need to be conscious of where you are in the country and then budget accordingly. Figure out what timelines are looking like on materials and then account for those delays if there are, right? Like, is it going to cost me more to expedite my windows and I need those windows so I can move my project along and so I'll pay a 20% premium? Or can I wait the 6 to 8 weeks it takes to get the windows in and, not pay the premium? There's a lot of adjustments here, like far too many for us to unpack in a quick video like this. But the key is to understand your local market, understand what labor's trading at, what materials are trading for in your local market. And then to take it one step further, also talk to folks in your market that are doing what you want to do in real time, right? Or a little bit ahead of you. If someone's just recently framed a house and it's a similar square footage to the house you're about to frame, wouldn't it make sense to find out what they paid? Right? Like you're not going to get any truer numbers than that. And that comes from being part of a collective and leveraging the power of the collective where people are sharing freely what they're paying and how long it's taking to do certain things on projects. So again, don't underestimate the cost of your rehab. The first way to do that is to model in a silo. That's the worst way to do it. So don't do that, right? Get outside of the silo, leverage the collective, go online, source some numbers, and then sanity check those numbers with people in your local market. And that's how you can avoid the fifth mistake, which is underestimating the rehab budget. So again, the top 5 mistakes investors make on fix and flips are underestimating the timeline, not accounting for the cost of financing on the rehabs, getting aggressive and speculating on their ARV, over improving on the project, and ultimately underestimating the overall rehab cost. So if you can avoid all 5 of those mistakes, you're on your way to being a successful fix and flip investor. And so I hope this video has brought you a lot of value. If so, don't forget to like and comment and share this with anyone else in the fix and flip space that you think might find value in it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.